Do good, Maverick. Go here. Welcome to podcast episode number 91. How to get out of your own way. Oftentimes when we are trying to achieve things, we are kind of acting almost like our own worst enemy in some ways, self sabotage or doing things that are holding ourselves back, Although I'm not an expert at all when it comes to success or business, that kind of stuff, but when it comes to how to get out of your own way, I thought I'd just share a bunch of some thoughts I have about it and some things that I've learned from others. And a lot of these, a lot of these things has been of great help for me myself. Habits. If you improve your habits, that can make a tremendous difference. A massive percentage of all the things we do are actually habits. So if you change your habits to better habits, you might not notice that much of a difference the first few days, weeks, but as the months and time goes by, the difference will probably become massive with time. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has this quote. It goes something like this: that with bad habits, time becomes your enemy. With good habits, time becomes your friend or your ally. And when it comes to habits, there's a lot of great habits we can have, like reading, exercising, eating healthy, things like that. And it can be amazing. But what James Clear pointed out in his book Atomic Habits was to design your habits like what he calls atomic habits, where you basically choose your habits where it is in relation to what goal you're trying to achieve. So, for example, if you want to write and publish your own book, jogging for 5 kilometers per day, taking a cold plunge bath, reading 20 pages, eating healthy, all those things, yeah, they can be amazing, but they're not really that related to your goal of publishing your own book, So in that scenario, maybe an atomic habit for you could be to sit down for 20 minutes, fully focused on writing on your book. Or it could be writing 1 page for your book per day, things like that. And if you're doing those things every day for several weeks, months, or years, then you can see how it would massively help you in achieve that goal. Thought I just mentioned that one because when a lot of people talk about habits, they tend to talk about a bunch of daily schedule stuff, but that's not really that directly related to what you're trying to achieve. And I recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Self-limiting beliefs. A lot of people have self-limiting beliefs and false self-limiting beliefs. Basically, beliefs, things we think are true, but they're actually false, and they're limiting ourselves. So, for example, you have the false belief that you are ugly and women find you repulsive. If you have that false and self-limiting belief, how did you? First of all, how did you get your beliefs? How do we get beliefs? The thing is that oftentimes the way we are getting beliefs is that things happen. Maybe some ladies rejected you really harshly, and it happened several times in a row. And maybe someone commented about something, and you took it really personal, and it caused you to be really insecure and act really insecure around women, which made women even less attracted to you, which further reinforced your belief. And before you know it, you had this belief that you are ugly and women find you repulsive. even though it's not true, but you really believe it deep down to be true. Now, this is just one example, but yeah. And the thing is with beliefs is that once you have a belief, you will find proof of it a lot of places, even if it's wrong. The brain is kind of like, Tony Robbins explains this, and I'm doing a poor explanation here, but roughly, the brain is kind of like a computer, and if you believe something to be true, you will find proof of it, almost guaranteed, and will find proof of it many places, even if it's not true. So, like in this example, if you think you are ugly and women find you repulsive, if you're a man, if you have that belief, you will find proof of it, even if it's not true. Maybe you're at the store and a woman is glancing over at you. Oh yeah, look, there's yet another woman that looks at me that way. Even more proof that I'm ugly. Yet another woman that finds me repulsive. No, maybe not. Was it really? Maybe she looked at you because she liked you. Maybe she wanted you to come over and talk to her. But since you have that false and self-limiting belief, you interpreted what happened the wrong way. And of course, this applies to a lot more than just dating. What you should do with your false and self-limiting beliefs is to change them out with the truth, with empowering beliefs instead. Change your false and self-limiting beliefs out with true and empowering beliefs. By the way, when it comes to how to do that, Anthony Robbins in his program Personal Power, he talks about that. When it comes to Personal Power by Tony Robbins, there's a lot of great stuff in there, but there's a few bad things like incantations, which is really occult, and evil practices. That's just a tiny little part of his program. Personal Power, it's like just a few minutes of the whole thing, which is several hours. But yeah, apart from a few things like that, Personal Power by Tony Robbins, there's a lot of solid stuff in there. And he also talks about how to change your self-limiting beliefs, how to get rid of them and change them out with empowering ones. Goals, it's hard to achieve something where you're not even it's hard to achieve a goal that you don't even have, So set exciting goals, both long-term and short-term goals, and reverse engineer it and make a plan for how to achieve it. A plan. And who you surround yourself with, that's a massive one. There are statistics out there. I've heard it quoted a lot of times that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. In many ways, it's kind of an overstatement, but also it has proven to be true, they say, even with things like in how good of a shape you are, how overweight you are, or how good of a shape you are in, how happy you are, how much money you make, a lot of things. It tends to be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to get out of your own way, you should choose carefully who you allow into your inner circle, who you spend the most time with. Model what works instead of reinventing the wheel. Try to find others that have achieved something similar that you want to achieve, and then model their actions. Success leaves clues, Don't procrastinate. Procrastination, that's a big one. Procrastination, it's one of the big killers of hopes and dreams, It's often the case that if you snooze, you lose. So Take massive action. Taking massive action, that's a big one as well. Be consistent. Maybe get a mentor. Getting a multitude of advisors. That's a fascinating one from the Proverbs in the Bible, you know. It talks about getting a multitude of getting a multitude of advisors, a multitude of counselors, and how it can help you be successful. Do what you have with do what you have. I mean, do what you can with what you have. In my notes, I have don't act like a Maserati in neutral. You know, if you have a lot of potential, possibilities, opportunities, but you don't really act on it, you're kind of acting like a Maserati in neutral. You have all of these things available at your fingertips, but you haven't put it in gear. So things are standing still, you know. You know, if you don't get out of your own way, you're kind of showing up as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. You know, you shouldn't hold yourself back. So there you have it. A bunch of random advice on how to get out of your own way, despite me not being an expert. But the thing is, several of these things, these small things, has actually made a tremendous difference in my own life. So even though I'm not an expert, I can at least share some of the things that have helped me and some of the things that I really wish I learned earlier on, you know. And about the one of who you surround yourself with, you know, when it comes to what you want to achieve, who you surround yourself with also has a tremendous impact. And, you know, if you're caught up in your daily schedule, work, things like that, it can be hard to change your environment that way, which is yet another reason why I'm so positive about paid communities. Because what you want to achieve, if there exists a paid community in that niche, maybe you should join it and get a lot of like-minded people, and also maybe learn from some experts and some people that are several steps ahead of you, you know. For my own online education and community platform that I'm building called Terrific 30, my concept is that I try to interview 30 experts or 30 real-life success stories, and then I turn those 30 interviews into a course and community, and maybe also a book. And the last few weeks, I've interviewed a bunch of people that are running paid communities that is making at least $10,000 in profit per month. And it's fascinating. At the time of this recording, I've not done all 30 interviews yet, but I've made a bunch of them, and it's been fascinating and really inspiring. And, you know, one of the things that really surprised me was how quickly many of these people were doing it. From the day they launched until they reached $10,000 in profit per month. So, you know, that's the exciting thing, especially these days, that once we get out of our own way, and if we get something to work, things can change really fast. And like Mark Cuban says, you only need to be right once. So even if you have failed many times, if you get something to work one time, especially in the world of business, you know, you only have to be right once. If you are right once and really hit it home, you might set yourself up for you might set yourself up financially for life, you know. That's exciting stuff. And, you know, if you want to escape the matrix of the 9 to 5 rat race. If you have a dream of that, maybe starting your own paid community could be a solution, you know. And if you want to learn from those real life success stories that I've interviewed, I highly advise you to check it out on communitycashcows.com. And there you can also join the community and connect with a bunch of other people that are also in the process of building their own paid community. So yeah, communitycashcows.com. All right, take care and God bless.